Hello everybody, welcome to Full Force this week. Today I've got some tasty YouTube comments to prepare for you. We just reached 300 subscribers on YouTube and I launched my Patreon. So we've got some wonderful YouTube comments that I'm going to show you how to best prepare today. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a smoothie. We're going to start off with about a quarter cup of rolled oats, and then we're going to add in a nice helping of peanut butter. Always gotta have a banana. No smoothie is right without it. About half a cup of chocolate almond. We're going to need a lot of sweetness into these comments. And then last, just a little bit of kale. Now for the comments. This week we have from Eltel84. Literally, this guy has a Patreon. GTFO delusional. 200 subs. Maybe focus on production value and actual content. This is a prime example of why Patreon needs to be reined in. Absolute bonkers. Thank you, Edel. That'll be a great ingredient for this. I see big potential for growth. Video is view very good and lots of views. With one click, my channel exploded. Go to notavirus.ru/virus.html for info. Thanks, notavirus69. And what the cradle. We have all our comments in. Let's blend this up. Gotta make sure that it's really smooth because these comments tend to be a little heavy on the stomach. Looking good. Oh god, it's so bitter! We're back drafting. We're doing the blue-green deck that I was supposed to do last week, got derailed by my fraying sanity. So, time to actually buckle down and get this blue-green ramp deck built. I like Aerial Guide and I like Tenacious Hunter. Refuse to Cooperate, not a great card. And also not in the colors, really, that we want. I mean, Refuse is... I don't mind Splashing. I think that Splashing is definitely a part of this deck because you're going to have things like Beneath the Sands, maybe some Manoliths, but Splashing for Refuse is not good. Now, Aerial Guide versus Tenacious Hunter is interesting. Tenacious Hunter is pretty nasty if you can put -1/-1 counters on things. Not going to be able to do that a lot in Blue-Green Ramp, though. Also, Aerial Guide is really, really good at flying things like Tenacious Hunter. I think that I take the Hunter, though, just because it's an uncommon versus a common. I'm going to see more Aerial Guides than I'll see Tenacious Hunters. It also seems to me that blue has often been more open, so I'm just going to snag that up right now. And wow, this pack is almost empty of blue and or green cards. There's an Unsummon and a Traveler's Amulet. There is a Survivor's Encampment too, I suppose, because I might want to actually have some deserts. There are some things that trigger off of it. I like Traveler's Amulet for the splash. I really like it. Unsummon's been surprisingly good. It's not insane. It's never insane, but it's a solid enough playable. I think it's the Traveler's Amulet, though. I wouldn't mind playing a little bit of an extra color. And I think that we're going to end up doing that a lot because, again, things like Ritualist and Beneath the Sands. Probably taking the Ritualist here. Gift of Strength is okay, but not amazing. Cunning Survivor is pretty awful. It's got a big butt, I guess, if we really, really need the 2-drop just to stop things. Same with, like, Seer of Tomorrow. Pretty awful card, but it does have a big butt. I'm going to take the Oasis, though. And Eternal of Harsh Truths. Not bad, more of an early game, like, tempo kind of card. Probably goes a lot better in the blue-red deck. I've also heard people be a fair bit down on this card, that it's not as good as it looks. I still think that I take it here because the other option is like Sidewinder Naga. Maybe actually Struggle to Survive is really good. We're going to be trying to play extra lands. I'm going to be trying to splash. So I could just grab the Struggle. I think that's pretty reasonable. Struggle is just awesome. And, I mean, Survive's not great. It's very, very rare that it'll actually come up as being useful, but I've seen some circumstances where it'd be nice, where opponents had a lot of Eternalizer and Balm, and surviving actually seems like a pretty decent idea. So I'm going to do that now. I feel like the blue cards will be open a little bit later. We've got Unsummon, Manalith. There's a Gilded Ceradon if I want to try and do that with the deserts, but I don't think we do that. I think we just need an Unsummon or the Manalith here now. I'm going to go... Unsummon versus Manalith is interesting. I think we've seen a lot of Unsummons and not a lot of Manaliths, so I'm going to take Manalith for now. I just feel like I'm going to wheel the Unsummons because there have been so many. And now we have Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs and an Unsummon. Sweet. Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs is a pretty solid card. I've been more impressed with this than I thought I would. It just blocks for days and it just constantly picks in. So it's really nice if you have enough deserts. Constantly just pecking at them ends a lot more games than what people think. I'm going to grab the Unsummon here, though. I just feel like our first Unsummon is kind of useful. Bitterbow Sharpshooter is surprisingly good. Bitterbow is. Great against a lot of the flyers in the format, and flying is still really important. It's not Amonkhet anymore, but flying has been a really big deal and limited for the last few sets, and I don't think that it really changed here. I do need the early game, though, so I'm going to take the Wall. Another Ritualist and a Seer. There's a Desert, so that I can actually have the Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs doing something. But I'm going to take the Ritualist. I want to keep up with the I'm ramping things. Wow. Every blue card wheeled. Slamming the Aerial Guide. And I'm kind of sad that we can't just take more so that we give less of a signal. Grab the Unsummon. Survivor's Encampment and Seer. Take the Survivors for the Wall. Seer is just awful. I know that I want to try and do a mill deck, but this is certainly not it. And I don't know that it's a good idea to try it. I did the Frey Insanity one, but I would like to try it again without that and just kind of trying some different things. Get like the Ipnu, if you can get the Blue Desert, the Ipnu, and you can get the Seers, then maybe there's some way that you can do it. It seems really, really tough. Which is why I like it. I love myself a challenge. Getting down to the last cards here. I'm wondering, what would I really want to hit? I mean, in pack 3, I want Nissa. Because Nissa's pretty awesome. I would not mind a Bounty of the Luxa. Bounty of the Luxa was always pretty solid in this type of deck back in Amonkhet. Not that this deck was great in Amonkhet, but it was a lot of fun anyways. I think... I'm not sure what we're hoping for. We really want more 2-drops right now. Something that would ramp us early. Maybe like Beneath the Sands even, honestly, would be pretty good. Not seeing any this pack is a little bit scary. I haven't seen a ton of green cards at all. Cunning Survivor and another Survivor's Encampment. I'll take the Survivor's Encampment, because I don't want to pass the signal that blue's open, but I don't think that those do particularly. And I really just want the desert for the walls. I'm hoping that I can pick up some more. Imminent Doom. Don't think that's happening. We have a Desert of the Indomitable, which would be pretty good for us. Another Ritualist, which I definitely don't want. I need early ramp, not late ramp. Bitterbow, which is pretty solid. Beneath, Devotee. So I think that it's really between, like, these 4. I can probably chop the Desert out. I only have one thing that's working with it so far. And as much as I like this, I don't need to get too crazy with it. Beneath and Devotee, I feel like, are their 2 picks here. I'm going to be able to find 5s normally. It's the early game cards that I'm worried about. This card's great because it's a late game mana sink for this deck. So it's a little bit of an early game and late game card. And it's really tough to beat at a certain point when you have enough mana. It makes combat impossible for opponents. I'm going to take the Devotee, because I feel like Beneath the Sands is a lot more likely to wheel. And I mean, this is an uncommon, so I'll see more Beneath the Sands. I won't see as many Devotees. And we see that right now, because there is a Beneath the Sands. There's also a Gronus' Stalwart, which is great. And I do need some early game. If we're passing 2 of them, one of them should wheel. I'm going to take the Stalwart. And now we have Beneath the Sands Wall. Both of which I like. I'm going to take the Beneath the Sands this time. I want to make sure that I have enough ways to get this struggle online. And I'm going to be playing a certain number of off-color deserts. I also might want to be able to splash something else. Like, I should be keeping my eyes open to see if I can splash, like, black or anything else like that. Okay. I've played this before, and it wasn't amazing. But we are the ramp deck. We have double Oasis Ritualist. I was just talking about wanting to have something in black, or another color maybe. Got a lot of fixing. I could just do it. What is full force without a little bit of spice? Let's grab that Torment of Hailfire. This is exactly what I need. Well, there is another top-end card, that's for sure. There's a Reedstalker, Desert, Rampaging Hippo. Hippo seems really good. It's almost certainly the pick over the Hour of Eternity. It's going to cost 5 mana just to get 1 4/4. 7 for 2. I really want to try that. Really want to try this. This is just becoming a bad idea deck. But if there is a deck that can run an Hour of Eternity, this is it. It's got the double Ritualist, it's got the Beneath, it's got the Manolith. I think I take it. I want to try it out. This is the whole point. We want to be trying to play cards that normally you wouldn't look at. And Hour of Eternity is a card that I often wouldn't look for. But if I'm going to be really, really heavy into doing a ramp deck, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. How often are you going to get Hour of Eternity when you're actually trying to ramp? It's a rare. You're very rarely going to see it. Striped versus Gift. I think I like the Striped. It's some top end, and it's cycling, so a little bit of both. I like a little bit of both. And Seer, Vizier, Frilled. I think Vizier, I don't have anything that works with it yet. I really wanted this card to be awesome. I really did, but it just hasn't done enough. It's so hard to get enough Internalize and Embalm cards online. For whatever reason, I just haven't been able to make this card awesome yet. I could just take the Frilled Sandwalla. I might need the early game. I think that I have to take it. Rampaging Hippo. Boom. More top end than I wanted. I think it's a little better than Striped Riverwinder. It's a little bigger. The trample's important. Sure, it costs a little more to cycle, but that's fine. It's cheaper too. I mean, just really awesome. I like Rampaging Hippo quite a bit. Striped Riverwinder I haven't played all that much, to be fair. But I don't know. Rampaging Hippo so far has been better for me. And Beneath the Sands. We could go full on crazy and take Imminent Doom. We actually have... Okay, no. I should just take Beneath the Sands. Rein it in. I've got enough spice already. I've already got Torment of Hailfire and Hour of Eternity. I don't need to get super crazy. Imaginary threats? Making them attack into Tenacious Hunters and Oasis Ritualist might not be a bad idea. Cycle it sometimes. I don't need a third Beneath the Sands. I don't need a Survivor's Encampment, so I guess Imaginary threats is the way to go. Take Crook. Ooh, Dune Diviner might be useful. I have a couple deserts, and tapping them is not the worst. Like, if I'm going to have a bunch of extra mana, I might as well be gaining some life. I need to stall out to get to the top end. Countervailing Winds versus Reedstalker. Reedstalker's been awful. Countervailing Winds has been better than I thought it would be, so I think I'm just going to take that. And Nissa. Nissa. I'll settle for a Bounty Luxa or a Gideon. I will absolutely take a Gideon. We can be 5-color. It's blue-green ramp, but I think that blue-green ramp in this format wants to have other colors involved. Okay, Mouth to Feed is a pretty solid card. Not amazing, but solid. I'm really tempted by this Naga Vitalist because I need a card like that. I would love a 2-mana ramp spell. We could cut a Beneath the Sands or something for it. How many things do I have with 3 power or more? We have the Devotee. We have maybe Stalwart. I can maybe count that as like a half. So 2, 3, 4. Not a lot, in other words. And the card's still fine anyways. It's not like it's unplayable without it. Lab Guardian's also in the mix here. All 3 of these cards are great. Hooded Brawler is good, but I've got a lot of 3s already. I'd rather have a 2. Wow, this is a tough one. I think I just take the Naga Vitalist. I've got a lot of top end, and I need to make sure that I get there. Bitterblade, Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is pretty solid for us. Some Grave Digging. I'm going to take the Bitterblade, though. Scattered Groves would be a pretty solid pick for us, I think. I'm not splashing white yet, but even just having a cycling land is fine. I like being able to cycle. Ooh, Sandworm. Hieroglyphic Illumination. Shed Weakness. I'm taking the Sandy. Got a lot of big threats that also cycle, which is pretty nice. I really like that in this deck. I'm going to cut one of the Beneath the Sands. We don't need to ramp that hard. I think I'm cutting the imaginary threats. So now we have 23 cards already. Wow. Shimmerscale Drake and Colossipede. Cradle of the Accursed. Another desert. We could possibly use that. We really only have one Wall of Pharaohs. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that's actually using it, so probably don't need to worry about deserts. Shimmerscale Drake is nice, though, and I don't have a lot of ways to stop flyers. As in, I don't have any ways to stop flyers currently. This is now the only way. Colossepede's good. I like Colossipede. I don't think I need a Watchers of the Dead or Initiate's Companion. We've got a decent number of 2s now, and we've got the Frilled Sandwalla and Unsummoned, so we got some stuff going on. Kind of like the countervailing ones with all the cycling we have. Ooh, Croc of the Crossing. That is a big boy. I like Croc of the Crossing a lot. We've got a ton of playables. I'm not sure how we're going to cut down to what we need. I might cut an Oasis Ritualist, just because it's really slow late game ramp. Cancel seems like at least a really good sideboard card against the Insane Bomb. We really don't have any removal. We have a couple of unsummons, but we didn't see like any ambuscades. We never saw even like Unquenchable Thirst or any black removal. We haven't seen like a Final Reward or Splendid Agonies or anything from the last set either. We do have the Struggle to Survive, so that's one thing. But yeah, there's been a drought of removal. Kind of nothing. And my favorite card, Luxor River Shrine. There's nothing else to grab, so I might as well just take it. Ronus's Monument could make this deck. We have some big creatures that could benefit some trample. I think I take the Monument. Naga Oracle and Floodwaters are both medium. Not that Monument's amazing either. Take the Floodwaters. Yeah, this deck looks spicy. We need to cut it, one more card, really, because we've got the Traveler's Amulet, so we should be able to get away with 16 lands, especially with the Naga Vitalist, Manalith, Beneath the Sands, which I'm pretty sure I'm playing all of. And then I need to just figure out this last cut. Don't think it should be an unsummon, but maybe it could be. Could be... Wow, this is a tough one. Maybe one of the top end cards, just like Colossipede. I have the Sandworm, Rampaging Hippo, and Striped River Winder instead. Colossipede is just worse than all of those, although it is cheaper, which is the advantage. Shed Weakness is solid. Like a good combat trick. When you're light on removal, good combat tricks can make up for it. This deck's not the best example of that, because we're not going to be on the attack as much. But especially in an aggro deck, you can make a really great aggro deck with 0 removal if you have great combat tricks. Because you're just going to constantly put your opponent on the back foot. And then when they have to block, you blow them out. And essentially your combat tricks are removal. Sure that most of you know that, but I always like talking about it. And Quarry Hauler. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to take the Colossipede out. I just like the flexibility of the cycling cards over it, even if they are a little more expensive. We have so much ramp that I don't think it's going to be a problem. And easy mana. I honestly think that I only need like one mountain, one swamp. One swamp is a little ambitious because I do need double for Torment of Hailfire, so yeah. And then 4, so that's 10. So we need to cut 1, so I could go to 8. From 8 to 7. It still gives me 8 sources because of the Manolith, 9 with the Traveler's Amulet, and kind of 10 with Survivor's Encampments, although almost all of our creatures are green. I think I like this. 9 sources should be enough. We've got a few cyclers. I don't know, maybe 10. It's so close. I really feel like I need the double swamp. I know that we can rely a little bit on Survivor's Encampment and Naga Vitalist, maybe the Oasis Ritualist. Well, we have Manolith too? Maybe not. Okay, I'm going to cut the swamp. We're going to go real greedy. We're going to run 1 swamp and the Torment of Hailfire. Boom, got him. Alright, 4 islands and an Hour of Eternity. Yep, that's the thing we're doing. Save the deck and let's go.